Hi, my name's Stierle, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the negative health impacts of e-cigarettes on teens today. Being in high school for the past 4 years, I've experienced firsthand how serious e-cigarette use is within teenagers today. I remember my freshman year walking into school and my friends all sneaking them, and they thought it was so cool, and they would pay outrageous amounts of money to seniors or juniors just to get these e-cigarettes because they thought it was the coolest thing. I don't even know if I could count 5 of my friends that don't use e-cigarettes. Maybe 3, and one of them would be me. Growing up, I just never saw the desire to do it, and I never saw what positive thing would come from it. In high school, freshman, sophomore, junior year, there were so many incidents where teachers would be running into the bathroom from kids standing in stalls together, sharing tools and vapes and all that stuff. And I remember freshman year is really when all of it started. From there, 1 or 2 girls did it, and then a couple other girls, and then maybe their boyfriend, and then all of their boyfriend's friends. And eventually by my senior year, I think almost everybody in my school jooled, vaped, did something of the sort. The real question is, why do teens continue to vape when since childhood they've had the negative health impacts crammed down their throat? Not only can vapes and e-cigarettes rot your teeth and gums, they can cause lung cancer, and they've also caused a huge spike in lung injuries in teens today. It's surely a hard question to answer as to why they would want to do this, but there are some ways that we can try and stop this. The first question is, why do teens do it? The simple answer to that is because it's cool. Teens think that, oh, because my friend did it, I'm gonna want to do it, or they looked cool and this so-and-so talked to them, so maybe if I do it, then so-and-so will talk to them, and it continues down the line, and it continues and goes from teen to teen. Which peer pressure plays a huge role in that. When one of your friends at a party is hitting a Juul or hitting a vape or hitting an e-cigarette of some sort, and they say, hey, do you want to hit? And you say, no, I'm okay. That's when you have to know your boundaries. Me, personally, as a teenager, my friends are pretty aware and respect the fact that I don't like and I don't condone the use of e-cigarettes, and they don't ever ask me, they don't do it around me. But it's important that you find those friends that do respect your boundaries and do respect your opinions on it. A lot of teens in high school, though, drop and stoop to that peer pressure, and that's why they get caught in the addiction. It starts out as a party fad, and then eventually everyone becomes severely addicted and they can't live without it, and they have hunger problems, they don't want to eat, or they starve, they throw up, they have bowel issues just from trying to quit, and they can't. And as easy as it is to start, it's a lot harder to quit. Another reason that teens do it is not only because it provides nicotine, but there are other ways to get other drugs into these e-cigarettes, including marijuana. For teens, it's a nice way for them to be discreet about what they're smoking, and it's a convenient route. Instead of smoking literal marijuana or smoking a cigarette, which has a much stronger scent, they can pull off using these e-cigarettes, these vapes, and whatnot. So for teens, it's really peer pressure and just the convenience of being able to discreetly use them without getting caught. What are the real negative health impacts in the short term and in the long term? In the short term, like I said, some teens go through withdrawal if they can't have it for a certain period of time. They have hunger issues, they have bowel issues, their throats hurt, they might have a sore lung when they're running in sports and stuff like that. They get out of breath really quick. Those are just some of the short-term things that really do affect teens in the long run. And, you know, they don't think of it at the moment, but in the long run, there are other effects that come with it. So a big one with cigarettes would obviously, a lot of people know, lung cancer. You are still prone to get lung cancer with an e-cigarette, no matter how much people say, oh, it's so much better for you than a regular cigarette. you're still prone to lung cancer and you're still prone to lung injuries, which can be severely serious when you don't address it or when there's overusage of it. And there's been so many cases, especially now, brought up about all of the lung injuries that have happened to teens from them being hospitalized just from using these e-cigarettes. They can cause rotting in your teeth and rotting in your gums just like a regular cigarette can. They don't have the tar in them that a regular cigarette does, but they still have all those negative health impacts. Some of the juices in them can contain other metals that are not meant to be ingested into your body, like a nickel, tin, lead, all that stuff. Your body, it takes a serious toll on it because it's not used to having those chemicals put into it, and it kind of freaks out and says, whoa, and maybe it doesn't realize it right now, but in the long term, after smoking that for 5 years, it's gonna have a negative health impact on you. People think, oh, I look cool. Oh, while I'm in high school, I'm gonna do it. Oh, while I'm at this party, I'm gonna do it. And they don't think about those long-term effects that are gonna affect them at the end of the day when they're 35 and they wanna have kids, or when they're 20 and they have kids, and they just don't really think of that. So the health impacts are huge. According to the US General, nicotine exposure during adolescence and young adulthood can cause addiction and harm to developing the brain. So teens can experience this brain malfunction in development, just like if they smoke weed or marijuana or whatever. It can stunt the development and the growth of their brain, which is a huge issue, especially when kids are starting in 7th grade, 8th grade, freshman year, when their brains are just starting to develop. They're going through puberty. They're having all these major changes in their body already, and then they're being exposed to this on top of that. So, like the US Surgeon General said, this nicotine exposure to adolescents is a huge issue. And the CDC also stated young people who use e-cigarettes may be more likely to smoke regular cigarettes in the future. It leads down a path, you know. That's another long-term effect of it. Is in the short term, yeah, you think it's great, but in the long term, you're going to be addicted to much more serious things that are going to have even worse of an impact on you. So, you know, everyone tries to cram it down to teens' throats. Why do you do this? Why do you feel the need to do this? Why do you smoke these e-cigarettes? The real answer is, how can we help these teens? How can we get them out of addiction? How can we show them that they don't need to rely on nicotine and vapes and all this stuff to make them happy or make them feel fulfilled? The biggest answer, even though there is no real answer, is just providing an example. Growing up, neither of my parents smoked, and I think that had a huge impact on me not smoking because I was never exposed to it besides maybe some family members, but I saw them heckling all the time, or some of them developing lung cancer from it, and it put an image in my brain that I had a good role model, and I knew what it would be like if I didn't follow in the footsteps of my parents, and it kind of scared me in a sense. And one of the great things today is that because of the spike in teens, there's so many resources out there, that online, texting, in person, that can help kids really get through the addiction and help them move past it. According to the American Heart Association, starting early and beginning to talk with your kids about smoking and vaping in kindergarten and being honest and open to seeing things from your child's point of view is extremely important. And they say to keep the conversation going as the kids get older, which is a huge point. And, you know, it's really important to just be there for your kids and just to show them a good role model that they can look after. In conclusion, there's never going to be an end to smoking, and we're never just going to be able to get rid of it. The tobacco and nicotine corporations have just taken over, and there's still an economic demand for them, so they're going to continue to produce. But it's important to make people aware that these negative health impacts are serious, and they are going to catch up to them in the long run. And we need to spread awareness of that now before it's too late, and these teens are using these without knowing all of the science behind it, because we still don't know, and in the long run ruining their futures. And it's important that we just stay supportive and we stay with communication and keep steady to help support our teens in their journey of recovery and to stop the spread of e-cigarette use in teens. Thank you.